Good morning, children. In last physics class, we moved to a new chapter, that is chapter number 11, Light, Shadows and Reflection. We saw the natural and artificial sources of light, and then we classified the objects which are seen with the help of light based on two criterias. One is based on the emission. Emission means giving out. Based on how the light is produced, the objects are classified into luminous object and non-luminous objects. Luminous means the objects which can give their own light. Sun, lamp, tube light are examples of luminous objects. Non-luminous objects means they do not produce their own light. Examples are chair, table and all the objects which do not give their own light. They are visible to us only with the help of light. And the next classification was, we classified the objects based on the transmission. Okay, transmission means how the light is passing through those objects. I classified them into another three different criteria as transparent object, translucent object and opaque objects. Transparent object means the objects which allow the passage of light through them. Example is glass and water. If you take a glass sheet and allow a light source to pass through them means it would pass. Whereas if you replace a wooden sheet in the place of a glass sheet, will the light be seen on the other end? No. So the objects which allow light to pass through them are transparent objects, and the objects which do not allow the light to pass through them are called opaque objects. Okay, so I can also define them as transparent object means which enables me to see the objects clearly present at the other end of the glass sheet. Opaque object means it will not show me the objects present at the back of the wooden sheet. Okay, so in between these two classification I have an intermediate one, that is nothing but the translucent objects. Translucent object will allow the light to pass through them partially. What is meant by partially? Partially means only half. So if I keep any object at the back of a translucent object, it will be visible partially. It will be not clearly seen, but it will be visible to me but not clearly. Okay? So such examples of translucent objects include frozen glass, oil paper, trace paper and butter paper. Okay? Until this we discussed in the last class. Now let us move to the properties of light. Okay? So what is the property of light? When I tell a person, okay, if it is a boy, what will I tell? He has short hair and he is strong and he is tall. I used to describe about a person with their appearance, right? If I tell it is a grandparents means they are old and they are all aged people, their skins are loose and they have grey hair. So this is how I describe something. Okay, the similar way to describe about light, to understand about light more, we need to know about its properties. We need to know more about its characteristics. Characteristics means how does it appear or how does it seem to be, what actually light is. If we know about the properties of light, we would understand that more. Okay, so first let us go step by step. The first property is light always travels in straight line. Okay, this straight line path of the light is called by another name called rectilinear propagation of light. Okay, this is a very important property of light, that light always travels in straight line. The straight line passage of light is also called by another name, rectilinear propagation. Okay, we know that in the last chapter we saw the motion, a type of motion as rectilinear. Okay, it means the movement of objects in a straight line. Okay, since light is traveling in a straight line, we call it by another name called rectilinear. Both are the same meaning. Okay, what is meant by propagation? Propagation means passage or passing through. Okay, so light always travels in straight line. This is also called by another name, rectilinear propagation of light. Now let us discuss an experiment to understand the rectilinear propagation of light. Okay, so this is an experiment we are going to conduct, okay, to understand that light always travels in straight line. For this, what are we going to use as materials is a candle, because candle is a luminous object and it can give light. Okay, so then I am taking 3 cardboard sheets with a hole in the center. Okay, the 3 cardboard sheets I am giving the name A, B, C, and I have pierced a hole in the exact center of the cardboard sheet. Then I am going to place the light source, that is nothing but my candle, at one end, and the other end of the hole I would be viewing through the hole to see the candle. Okay, so the candle placed at the other end should be visible to me at the back of the cardboard sheet C. If I view through the holes, the candle is visible to me. How is it possible? Because light always travels in straight line. If the light is traveling in a wave or in any irregular manner, means I will not be able to see the candle at the back of cardboard sheet C. Right? Since it has the property to travel always in straight line through the holes, the light source is visible to me. Now look at this image. A person is using a tube or any pipe and he is trying to watch the candle. Okay, always a pipe will have 2 open ends at both the corners. Okay, one end he is having his eyepiece and the other end he is trying to watch the candle. First he is trying to watch through a straight pipe and the candle was visible to him. And the second time he tried to watch the candle with a curved pipe. Okay, can you see the pipe is curved in the second case? Since the pipe was curved, the candle was not visible to him. So this again tells us that light always travels in straight line. Okay? Okay. Now we are moving to the next property of light, that is a reflection in mirror. Okay. So now you all go stand in front of a mirror. This I have already discussed in your refreshing class. Go and stand in front of the mirror, okay, and take a torch light in hand, okay. If you press the switch of the torch light, the light comes from the torch and arrange it in such a way that the light falls on your mirror. Okay, this is the mirror. Let me draw it, okay. So this is the mirror. I'm going to allow the torch light to fall on the mirror. Now observe what happens to the light from the torch. The light which we allowed to fall on the mirror gets reflected and it moves in the opposite direction. Okay, so this is what the schematic representation of drawing a ray diagram. Okay, the ray diagram we usually have it in the light chapter. First, let us get to know about what is meant by a ray. A ray means a single source of light. Okay, so you had only one torch in your hand. The light from the torch falls on the mirror. That is considered as a single source of light. So I would tell that as a ray. What if suppose you are having 4 to 5 torches is all held together in one hand, then 4 light sources will fall on the mirror, right? Like this. 4 light sources will fall on the mirror. So then that gets the name as beam. Okay, beam of light, group of rays. So a ray means it is a single source of light, and I would indicate it in a single arrow mark, a straight line with arrow mark in the front. If there are 2 or more sources of light, then it is going to be a group of rays. A group of rays are called as beam. I draw it in this way. 4 rays or 2 or more rays when drawn together, it is called as beam. Now, coming back to the reflection phenomena. So, this is the mirror. Okay, instead of drawing it vertically, I have drawn here as horizontally. This is nothing but your mirror. I have represented the mirror like this. Okay. So, when I allow a source of light to fall on the mirror, a ray comes from the torch and touches the mirror. That ray coming as the light source is called as incident ray. What do you mean by incident? Incident means it falls on something. So here the torch light falls on the mirror, and that is why I call it as incident ray. Okay. So whenever a ray falls on the mirror, it gets reflected. So what is reflection? Reflection means the light which came and fell on the mirror gets changed into another different direction and then follows a different path. If you see here, the light which comes towards the mirror in this direction, it has to move like this in the same direction. After falling on the mirror, it has to pass through like this. But did it go like that? No. Instead, it got changed in its direction and it started to follow another different direction. Okay. So that is called as reflection. So light has a property to change its direction, to change the path in which it is going. Okay. So that is called as reflection. So since the incident ray after falling on the mirror gets reflected, gets changed in its direction of path, the ray which is moving in the opposite direction is called by another name called reflected ray. Understood? The light which came and fall on the mirror, now it is going out. That ray after reflection, the ray which moves out, the light which moves out is called by the name reflected ray. Okay, so next we are moving to the next property of light, that is called as lateral inversion. Okay, lateral inversion, as the name tells, inversion means inversed. Something is changed, inversed. Okay, so if you take a note and write few letters on your notebook and show those letters written on the notebook in front of the mirror. Okay, when I draw anything like this, a straight line with some slashes at the back means it indicates to a mirror. This is the way how I represent a mirror diagrammatically in physics. Okay, so this is nothing but my mirror. I am going to display these letters in the front of mirror, and what will I observe? I think you have experienced this. If you stood in front of the mirror, your right hand appears as to be left and your left hand appears to be right. Correct? So this mirror has something magic in it. How come it gets changed and showing? How was it possible? I am showing the correct letters written in the correct format, but how come the mirror is changing it and showing it to me? That is because of the property of light called lateral inversion. Okay, so whatever I show it in the front of mirror, it is inversed and then I get it in another different format. That is called as mirror images. Okay, see, A will be shown as like this. B will be inverted and shown. Ka in Hindi will be inverted. A in Tamil will be like this. So if you write and show or if you display anything in the mirror, there would be an inversion. The images would be changed. They would be inverted. That is, the left of an object will appear as right and the right will appear as left. This property of light is called as lateral inversion. Also, all the alphabets will not show some changes. The letters O, U, I, V will not show lateral inversion, will not show mirror images. Those alphabets will have the mirror images as the same. Try it out in your home and check. Okay. So there, have you seen the ambulance van? Okay, the vehicle used for the emergency purpose, okay, is called by as ambulance. Okay, that ambulance van will have the letters inverted and pasted on the front of the vehicle. Have you thought why is it so? Because whenever there is an emergency only, we use the ambulance. So all the vehicles in the road had to move side and they should provide the way for the ambulance to go fast. Right? So if I'm driving a car and going, I would see the ambulance coming at the back of my vehicle through my side mirror. Right? All the vehicles have the side mirror. In the mirror, the letters are appearing as lateral inverted. Laterally inverted letters only is seen. So whenever if I have a vehicle with the correct spelling as ambulance like this written, okay, check it and see in your mirror. The mirror images of these letters would be something confusing to me. I would think that is some design or the owner of the vehicle is written something madly like that. I would be lethargic and I will not leave way for the ambulance to go fast. So that is the reason. I'm sorry, ambulance, EM comes here. So that is the reason the ambulance van has all the letters of the word ambulance written in laterally inversion. So that whenever I see the vehicle through my side mirror, I could clearly read the word ambulance and I would leave way for the vehicle to go ahead. Clear? So, I have given today's homework also to find out the mirror images of few letters. Find it out. And if you have any doubt, you can call me. The remaining let us continue in the next class. Thank you, children.